And the Pope wrinkles his brow. He thinks for a minute. He goes, "No, Dopey, there are no dwarf nuns in Rome." In the background, there few dwarfs are sniggering. Dopey turns around and gives him a mean glare. And Dopey goes, "Your worship, are there any dwarf nuns in all of Europe?" The Pope's puzzled now, and he says, "No, I don't think, Dopey, there are any dwarf nuns in Europe." All the other dwarfs are giggling, and Dopey says, "Mr. Pope, are there any dwarf nuns anywhere in the world?" "I'm sorry, my son, there are no dwarf nuns anywhere in the world I know of." All the other dwarfs collapse in a heap, rolling around in laughter, pounding on the floor, tears rolling down their cheeks, and they're chanting, "Dopey screwed up penguin, Dopey screwed up penguin." Look, Dopey. This old man's eating at a truck stop, and three Hell's Angels, bikers, walk in. First one walks up to the old man, pushes his cigarette in the man's pie, and then takes his seat. Second one walks up, spits in the milk, and takes his seat at the counter. Third one walks up to the old man, turns his plate completely over, and then sits at the counter. And without any word of protest, the old man quietly leaves the diner. Well, shortly thereafter, one of the bikers says to the waitress, "Not much of a man, was he?" And the waitress says, "He's not much of a truck driver either. He just backed his big rig over 3 motorcycles." I love vengeance. And last but not least here, it's the spring of 1957. Bobby goes to pick up his date. He's a pretty hip guy with his own car. He goes to the front door, and the girl's father invites him in. He says, "Carrie's not ready yet. Why don't you have a seat?" Carrie's father asks Bobby what they're planning to do, and Bobby says they'll probably go to the soda shop or a movie. "Well, why don't you two go out and screw? I heard the kids are all doing it." Well, naturally, this is shocking. Bobby, like, asks the dad to repeat himself. The dad says, "Yeah, Carrie really likes to screw. She'll screw all night if we let her." Well, a few minutes later, Carrie comes downstairs in her cute little poodle skirt and announces she's ready to go, and Bobby is almost breathless with anticipation. He escorts the date out the front door. Well, 20 minutes later, Carrie runs back in the house, slams the door, and screams at her father, "Dad, it's called the twist!"
Oh.
If you need me again, see, let me know, but that's mine for now.
Yay, wow.
Brava!
Thanks,
That was wonderful.
I have a joke I can contribute.
Go ahead. Just
Oh,
take
goody.
the stage.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm only going to do one. So, a couple gets married, and very quickly they have kids, and their sex life gets really complicated. So they agree that they'd have a code word. When either one of them wants to have sex, they will say, "I'd like to do a load of laundry." So one day the husband's really horny, and he says to the wife, "Oh, let's do a load of laundry." She says, "Not right now. I got to run the kids to school, but when we get back, we could do it." So the wife takes the kids to school, comes back, says to her husband, "Okay, babe, I'm ready to do laundry." He said, "Oh, that's okay, honey. I took care of it. It was a small load, and I did it by hand."
Good one.
Bravo. Nice.
Oh.
Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you so much. Have you guys, what is it with stuff in the grocery store that you like? Have you ever noticed that you find something that you really like in the grocery store and you like really get attached to it and you're looking forward to it and of course they stop making it? Have y'all ever had that happen?
Oh,
Oh, I hate it.
It's awful and
annoying.
it's happening all the time. But the grocery store itself is such a horrible place. I mean, it's so horrible because the other day I was in there and I looked on the back of this jar and I looked down at the fine print and it said may contain peanuts. And I'm thinking, well, this is stupid. This is a jar of peanuts. It's like, what are they going to do? Accidentally put filberts in there? The other thing that drives me crazy is I know it's especially true with cookies and cereal for some reason, but if you pick up a box of cookies, you think, man, these cookies look great. They must be about the size of a freaking manhole cover. They're huge. And you get them home and you open up the box and you pull them out and they're about as big as a nickel. And it's like, wait a minute. There's a discrepancy between the anticipated size of the cookie and the actual size of the cookie. And you look on the box and then there's those little words I hate to read, enlarged to show texture. And I'm like, how big a problem is that with food? I mean, have you ever said, you know, that would have been so much better if the texture had been like a number 4 grit sandpaper instead of the smooth texture that it was. I mean, you don't ever watch a food channel. It's like, you know, your dish would have been delicious. I mean, it tasted great, but this texture sucks. You're gonna have to go back. So I
Color
decided
does
whenever I
that.
found,
Yeah.
yeah, I finally decided whenever I saw enlarged to show texture on the box and a 1-800 number, I would do this.
Hmm.
I would call the number and it would be like, this is the Nabisco hotline. How may I help you? It's like, yes, I have a package of Chips Ahoy Oreo stuffed cookies. And she's like, yeah, what's the problem? It's like, well, you know how you enlarge the picture on the front to show the texture? Yes, yes, of course. I know what you're talking about. Yes, okay. Well, my eyes aren't really what they're used to be. Could you make that picture a little bigger from now on the package so that I could get a better idea of the texture? Because if I can't read it, then it's going to really be a problem. Anyway, I don't like to talk about my real life and Second Life much. I probably like to talk about it actually more than you like to hear about it. But in real life, I really am going through a very messy divorce, and you probably understand after hearing my act. But about a year ago, my wife picked up everything and left me, and that was bad. But what really hurt was she left me for another woman, and
Mm.
it didn't hurt me because she left me for another woman. I was just thinking, baby, you could have done that here. Just let me make some microwave popcorn, and I'll sit over in the corner and be very, very quiet.
Oh, Lord.
I know that I just don't think it's going to work out, and I just don't think that her relationship with a woman is going to work out. And I'm not anti-gay at all, and I know some of you women are going to get upset, but there's things that a guy has that a woman doesn't have that I know she's going to miss. Now, I'm not talking about dick, because let's face it, the male penis is obsolete. We have been leapfrogged by robot technology with all kind of shapes, sizes, different quantities of batteries, and little stimulant attachments that, unless we do some incredible X-Men morphing over the next couple of generations, we'll never be able to catch up. No, so
Exactly.
she's not going to miss the dick, but she dearly loved to break my balls. And
Oh.
you've heard of the
Hmm.
game Whack-A-Mole? We had this game we used to play called Smack-A-Nad, and it was sort of like a combination between trivia game and Fear Factor, because
Yeah.
it always started with a question, and then the question was, to me, and if I got it right, nothing happened, but that never happens. For example, she came and she said, "Honey, what did I say to you about eating Fritos in the living room and drinking your beer while you're watching wrestling?" And I'm like, well, I think we had said that because I work really hard and this is my home, I should be able to come home and have a beer and some Fritos and relax and enjoy wrestling. And she's like, no, the correct answer is ants. 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 You get crumbs in the carpet, and ants come in from outside from all around and get ants. Now go get the rubber mallet and the cutting board from the kitchen. So, yeah. But there is an upside to her being gone. I mean, there's a great thing. It's not great, but one of the things is it's kind of nice to get caught up on my important internet research. I do a lot of research on the internet, and I've learned a lot doing my research, which I can tell you for one thing, like if any of you are parents out there of a daughter, you don't want to enroll her in Innocent High. It is not that innocent. And if you hire a tutor for your child and they say their methods are unorthodox,
There.
they're very unorthodox. The other thing that's given me time to do since my wife left me is I get to spend a lot more time with my family, which is great. The other night, my brother was down. He's upstate somewhere, and I'm downstate somewhere. We use relevant terms. And we were all getting together, and my cousins were there, and everybody was there, and we were drinking, and we were partying, and we were having a great time. And my brother, who is a priest, offered this fact of information just out of the blue. He's like, you know, your virginity grows back after 7 years. And we're all like, well, that's good to know. I imagine that'll come in handy if we ever meet somebody that hasn't had sex for 7 years. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, my mom says, I'm a virgin. And,
Oh.
so I was thinking,
Cute.
Mom, we could sell you on Craigslist,
Oh.
right? I can read the ad now. Virgin for sale, might need a breathing treatment in the middle, no rough sex, prone to breaking hips. And I can imagine the look on the sheik that buys her and has her shipped over as he uncrates the box. It's like, what the hell? What the hell? And she would say something sweet like, better hurry up, sheik, the Metamucil's kicking in.
Oh, God.
Terrible. That's awful. So that's the show for tonight. We hope you had
Yay.
a great time.
Woo.
Why not? You want to come up and do some more, a little bit more? Tim, you want to get?
I have a couple I can do, but I
Come
mean,
on, why not? Come up one more time. Take us out to the 6 o'clock hour.
I'll take us
Yeah.
to the end of the
Anyway.
show. What the